Hi guys, welcome to Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey here. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. Well, firstly I'll get the apologies out of the way. I know this isn't the video you wanted this week, and it's not the video I wanted to do this week. However, my good friend and subscriber Phil is going to be released from hospital today. They've let us know at the last minute, and it's going to mean me having to drive up into the centre of London, hopefully for the last time ever in my life, pick him up and get him home to his family. So I'm sure you'll all understand, at the end of the day, friends and family come first, and everything else comes a bit second. Do excuse me coughing. I've got one of my nicotine pouches in. I do tend to dry my throat out a little bit, make it tickle. Anyhow, so what I decided to do is whack together a quick video for you today. Now, Temu. So this is a Chinese marketplace trading company that has been making sounds for the last, I'd say, I've only noticed it about a month, been advertised on absolutely everything, and so I thought, you know what, Kaz, let's give them a go. Let's set ourselves a low budget, let's buy a whole variety of kit, let's give it a try, let's see what it's like, see what happens, and we'll go with that. One of the things I'm not going to do today, I'm not going to give you prices. However, I can tell you all these items are incredibly cheap. But what we have noticed is the prices seem to vary. They go up and down, and they seem to change on a daily basis. It doesn't affect your order. Once your order's in at that price, it stays at that price. However, I have noticed that you can buy something one day, the next day it's gone up £1. This is all cheap stuff, guys. It's absolutely cheap. And again, I'm not expecting the highest quality out of this stuff. If I wanted to go and buy pouches that were going to survive a trip up Everest, then obviously I'm going to go and spend the big bucks. But what I was looking at is the sort of things that are everyday bits and pieces that they don't have to be the greatest quality as long as they do the job. Okay, some of these items I would consider a one-hit wonder, i.e. use it once, it'll do the job, but after that it's probably going to be a throwaway item. However, would it do the job? So all these things with the exception of the window breakers, I've obviously been able to try. I'm hoping to chat to a friend of mine and go and test out the window breakers at a later date, which will be part of a video. So anyhow guys, let's get into it. So we bought several bundles from Temu, i.e. we went out and bought a series of items, ordered them, and they all came. Only one set of the items was delayed, and they make a promise that if your items aren't delivered by a set time, they will pay you an apology amount. Now that probably varies around the world, but I know in the UK it's £5. Okay, so if you got an order in for, say, £6, £7, and it doesn't come on the exact day, and we found the second it didn't come on that day, they credited our account with the money. Bonus, thank you very much. I like that. That's a bit of simple honesty. Okay, appreciate that. A lot of organisations make those sort of promises and don't keep them up. So let's start with the simple things. Toys. Right. So I'm a big kid, as you know. Okay, and when I was a kid, I had a catapult, and I used to mess about with my catapult all the time. I wasn't particularly brilliant with it, but one of the things I used to do on occasion. And it's because when I was a kid, the way I held the catapult was like that, and you pull the elastic back, and every now and again you'd catch you under your thumb. Oh, that would hurt. Okay, so I saw an item on there for less than £1. It was about 69p, and I thought, you know what? Let's give it a go. I've seen them before, but let's give it a go. Now I know this is a cheap Chinese knockoff of the credited item, or the official item, but I bought one of these little slingshots. Okay, and I bought the ball bearings to go with it. All in all, I think it came to about £1, and it came. And these little pocket slingshots, okay, some of these can have adapters where you have feathers in there so you can fire an arrow from it. And I thought, I wasn't expecting a lot, and I took it up the woods. You hold it like that, put your ball bearing into the pocket, pull it back, let it go. I was actually quite surprised. 30 yards, I was getting 6-inch groupings with no problem at all, literally from the first 2 or 3 shots. The impact, yeah, it's, if you were knocking birds out of trees, things like that, it would probably do the job. I wouldn't use it for hunting game, but for a bit of fun, for a toy, and not that I have used it against an animal, I wouldn't. I've got better equipment for that. But as a toy, something to take out with you for a bit of fun, yeah, great. If you wanted to introduce your kids to catapults and that sort of thing from a beginner, yeah, go with one of those. Cheap, affordable. I believe you can get replacement rubbers, and I believe you can get rubbers of various strengths. So that was my first item out of the Temu haul, the little pocket catapult, and yeah, I was quite surprised, quite pleasantly surprised. So there we go, there's that. And as I say, that with the ball bearings, a sub a pound. You know, what can you get for a quid today? In that same pack came this. And again, we're in mosquito season in the UK. We've got lots of wet days and lots of high temperatures. So I bought a mosquito net, and I've not had a look at it yet. So it's a head over mosquito net. I bought one for me and one for Mac, and again, these were pennies. So we'll have a look at it. And the mesh is fine enough. Simple elasticated base. Will it go over a hat? Now that's the important thing. If you're ever buying one of these head over mosquito nets, you want something that will go over a hat with a bit of a brim. It doesn't have to be a massive brim, but a bit of a brim. If the mosquito net is against your face, they can still get you through the net. And the other thing is, especially for somebody like me that wears glasses, it does blur the vision. If you can move it away just a few inches, it makes a hell of a difference. Well, it's long. It's nice and long, so you can tuck it down over a shirt collar. Yeah. Doesn't affect my visibility. I can breathe easily through it. It's going to keep the mosquitoes off me. Yeah. Okie doke. It doesn't. I can't just pull it apart and tear it like some materials. I think that'll do the job. So again, we will try that out. So that's a mosquito net. And I believe I got two of those for about £1. And it's again from Temu, mosquito head net. Can't really go wrong with that. Okay, now that's an item that you sling in the bottom of your bag. It's there, you'll probably forget about it for most of the year. But I tell you what, on that day when the midges or the mosquitoes are out in force, that's going to be a little bit of a game changer and make life a little bit easier. And talking of head overs, the other item I got, purely and simply because I do a bit of vermin control, and I was also thinking in the winter when it's cold, a nice simple head over. Let's figure this out. Difficult to see things without my glasses on. Okie doke. That's well elasticated. I can breathe quite well through it. It does fit reasonably well. It could do it coming down on the neck a bit more. However, without just taking my eyes out of the view, yeah, that's not too bad. Use that to blend away into the background nicely. And it acts as a bit of a wind barrier in cold weather. And it's not particularly big. If they do these in sizes, I've said you get a large. Doesn't appear to be sized. But again, for my head, my face shape and that, yeah, small, light, bundles away to nothing. If it's a winter kit, tucked in the bottom of a pocket, yeah, it will give you that little bit of protection just to keep the wind off. I would say if this got wet and you're in sub-zero conditions, it's going to hold moisture, and it's going to hold moisture against your skin, which might not be helpful. But again, you have to think about these things and adapt to them. But yeah, as a little wind protector, or even if I was out on my motorbike and it's getting chilly, that tucked in the bottom of my bag gives me something I can take out, put on. I have an open face helmet, and it would just give me a bit of protection from the environment. Sort the beard out. There we go. Make myself tidy and smart for you. Okie doke. So yeah, so far not too bad. Like I say, that face mask yeah, it is cheap, okay. I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing in the world, it's not. It is a bit cheap, but it will do the job, okay. And again, at the price that they charge for it, what can you say? What can you say? So that was that haul. That was that haul when it came. The next haul, I was looking for small items that you could put on a keychain or on your jumble cord, basically to give you some kit for dealing with emergencies, dealing with bits and pieces. Okay, so I've built several of these over the years, and basically you've all seen them. So the idea is that clips onto your pocket, and that is just a collection of small items that will go away to one side. Okay. Now, the majority of these items I've had for a while and weren't from Temu. However, I have found Temu do the little whistle fire striker. They do little compasses, although I probably wouldn't go with them for a compass because I want a bit of accuracy. But they also do the little LED nano lights. Okay, so if you're looking at building one of these kits, have a look through their gears. Have a look at the small items you can get, like, and see how well it works. And yes, you'll notice there's these little clips. Well, they do a pack of 10 of those for sub £1. They're absolutely brilliant. When I first bought them, I thought they were going to be really cheap and nasty. I was actually surprised at the quality of them when they come. The springs are quite firm. I haven't managed to break one yet. And they're great for fastening things like pen knives, pocket knives onto that, so it then goes into your pocket. And again, if you're putting together a jumble kit like that, like this one, a little magnifying glass, little tiny Gerber, a whistle and fire steel combination, a little compass, a little light, and that, having that on there gives you one you can clip your pocket knife to, and it all goes in your pocket. You're not going to lose it, right? If you're carrying lots of small items in your pocket, every time you take something else out, there is that risk. We've all done it. Or if you've got it in a breast pocket, you've not zipped it up fully, you've then tabbed 20 miles, you go to pull something out, you're like, oh no, where's that gone? Okay. In all the militaries in all the world, you will see these. Okay. It's a squaddy idea. It's a simple thing. Put it on a lanyard. Okay. You're not going to lose it. If it comes out, it starts bouncing against you. You look down, you go, oh Christ. Pick it up, put it in the pocket, zip it up. It's not gone. Okay. So that was the jumble kit. So what was I looking at adding to that? Well, I then thought keyring. Okay, so I do a lot of driving, and I've got glass and window breakers in the car. Had for years, but invariably I've got the hammer type. Now the problem with those, they're quite bulky, and I haven't really got anywhere to put it in the front of my car other than the glove box. But in an emergency, are you going to think? Go to the glove box? Or if you get out to go and deal with a casualty in a car and you get to the car, find they're trapped and you need to gain access to them, you've got to go back, get that out of your glove box, because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 you're not going to think of it. Okay, so one of the things I did look for was a little window breaker. Okay, and now these window breakers are a very simple system. All you do is you put that black piece against the glass and you push. And it is basically a centre punch, but it's a concealed centre punch with a hardened tip. And as I said, I've yet to try it out on glass, but I did a silly thing, which was put my thumb on it, push it down as far as it go, and it took a lot of pressure to push it down. It cocked it and it fired, and the tip of it hit my thumb. And yeah, I was wandering around for about 10-15 minutes, giving it that. Okay, works. The other nice thing on this is you've got a seatbelt cutter on there as well. It's small and light enough to go on your keyring without adding any weight. Okay, I think that was about £2 again, but like I say, I'm giving you the prices I paid. The prices do vary, you'll have to have a look. The other thing I bought was this little light. Now I was expecting this to be rubbish. Okay, we've all done it. You buy torches online from Chinese manufacturers and they turn out to be absolute pants. This actually came, and I was quite impressed for its size. Okay, it is a little anodised aluminium torch, and it's just a twist setting on it. Okay, to go on my keychain, just as a backup torch, backup light. You know, or you need to get in somewhere that's smaller and have a look. It's been on there for 2 weeks. Normally what happens with these sort of things with me, I put them on my keychain, they get jumbled into the pockets, they go into the car, they get chucked about, they break, they come apart, the batteries fall out. This one it hasn't yet, so I am quite surprised. I don't think it'll take a major amount of abuse, and I don't think it will work underwater. However, so far it's held together and it's been quite efficient, and I've used it a dozen times. Not a bad little item to have on your keychain. So again, that gives you those two on the keychain. And again, as you can see on there, I've got a little Victorinox clone penknife, little tiny one. Got a pair of tweezers on it. Got a toothpick on it. Got a little blade on it, and it is a little tiny blade. It won't do a lot. Okay, and also, more importantly for me, it's got a little nail file, nail cleaner, because I do have nails, and in what we do with our bushcraft and survival, we tend to get muck underneath them. So it's nice to have something to clean them out with. So that came in that kit. That was a jumble kit, and again, quite satisfied, quite happy for the money. Couldn't go wrong. Yes, I could go out and buy a branded torch. It would probably have a lot more durability, it'd be a lot more brighter, and it would probably be a lot more substantial in its build construction. Okay, pennies, that's the difference. If I lose that, I'm not too worried. If I've got a torch on there that I've paid £30 or £40 for, or $50–60, I lose it, I break it, I'm going to be one really cheesed off bunny. And the lesson I've learned over the years is sometimes you have kit that you call consumables. This is kit that you know is going to break, you know you're going to damage it, you know there's a high chance of losing it. Okay, if you've got consumables, those items that are going to have that happen to them, don't buy the top quality. Don't bust your budget buying something that is going to last you a lifetime. However, you lose it and you suddenly breaking down in tears. For the same money that I paid for that, I could probably buy 30 or 40 of those torches. Okay, so think about your budget, think how it works. But again, you also have to be a little bit cautious, because sometimes these things come and they're absolute pants. Okay, talking of pants, hats. They do a whole range of hats on there. Okay, and they're cheap hats. They are dirt cheap. Okay, they're basically cotton. They're absolutely basic construction, but again, I go through hats like you wouldn't believe. Okay, so I ordered some. That one, absolutely fine, fits nice, it's relatively comfortable, it does the job, it's in camouflage, I lose it, its penny's gone. Okay, it's quite good. However, one of them in the kit came and it had that. Okay, the Velcro hadn't been fastened properly. It's a machining fault, I would have thought, to there. Okay, it wants restitching. Now, is that a biggie? Not really. Needle and thread, you could do that. You've paid pennies for something, you could fix it, but it just goes through occasionally. These are cheap Chinese manufactured items. Don't expect too much. Okay, now, so then we sat back and thought, pouches, packs. Okay, now, bushcraft and survival, we're always looking for pouches and packs. We're always looking for things to put things in, to fasten to things. Okay, now two schools of thought obviously on that. One, have a big bag with a large container and just put the items in it and rummage through them when you need to. Works for some. You get somebody like me, there's certain items I like to have on the outside, and you can see the pack over my shoulder there, which I packed originally for today's video that we were going to go out and do, and obviously I'm not able to. But you'll see things on that, like there is a pouch on the outside, and that pouch contains my head torch. I'm out in the dark quite a bit, therefore my head torch is in there, my spare batteries are in there, ready to go if I need it, next to the silo. Okay, so if the head torch fails, I can go to the chem light, use the chem light. Not so much for seeing what I'm doing, because I've got fairly good vision in the dark, but letting other people see me. Okay, especially if I'm having to tap back down a road or something like that, it gives me a marker I can put on the back of my bag, and it makes me a little bit more visible, especially with it being a camouflage bag. And that's something for you guys to think about. A lot of us are using olive greens, we're using browns, we're using camouflages and so on. Now that's all good from a tactical point of view. I get that, not an issue with it. A military kit, an ex-military kit, will last you a lifetime. It is made to a very high standard. However, the downside of it is, if it's a case that you're travelling home one evening in the car, it breaks down, and you suddenly find you're having to walk up some rural roads with, say, no paths, you need to make yourself visible. You need to think about this. Otherwise, A, you're going to become a casualty, and some poor person who's probably doing nothing more than trying to get home in the pouring rain, driving their car after a hard day work, thinking about their tea and their family, suddenly has this person, i.e. you, appears out of the gloom right at the last minute and, okay, now, I can't say who's in fault. Maybe you should have been driving slower, maybe you should have better headlights, but these sort of accidents do happen. You can help mitigate that simply by having a head torch, simply by carrying a handheld torch, or having a chem light or something you put on the back of the bag. It mitigates it. Then you're in a position where you can say, I did everything I could to make myself visible, officer, and he still hit me. Okay, but accidents happen. Try and mitigate against them. Okay, so back to pouches. So the first pouches we bought a selection of pouches just to try them out, and I will say I'm impressed with the pouches. The first one we bought was this one, okay, which we looked at, and is a copy, I believe. I think it's Emerson. It might be Emerson that make them. I could be wrong. However, they do these as medics pouches, and you've all seen them all over the place. Okay, they're quite readily used as medics pouches. So the idea of this pouch is quite simple. You can see the size and the shape of it, and at the moment I've got a standard NATO issue mess tin in there, and that fits in, leaving space. Okay, and I've just done that to bulk out and give you an idea of the size. So on the back here we have a mold system, okay, or molly system. Yeah, poppers work quite nicely on it, and it does work well. It also has two D-ring loops, which I quite like, because it means you can put it on a shoulder strap if you wanted to, or you can clip it on something in the car. Now, I fasten that. I have a mesh similar to this in a car, and a friend of mine has got a car with a short boot with a dog guard. So all his kit is mounted to the dog guard where he can reach in and grab it. So the nice thing with this kit is quite simple. Using the molly system, you can fasten it to the car. Right, to gain access to it, it's not just Velcro to the back. Okay, Velcro's fine until you knock it, pull it, and things peel off, or you've got a bit of weight in it, and as you go and have a bumps, it peels it off. This is also backed up with that clip there. So you undo that clip, grab that strap, and it is good Velcro, so and you'll pull away. So that leaves that fastening system in your vehicle. You've got that pouch in your hand, or you could mount it to a Bergen, pull it away, you've got your med pouch in your hand, and off you go with your med pouch. Now these med pouches are quite nice. You've got a molly fastening system on the front, you've got a bit of Velcro there, so you put a morale patch on it, or whatever you want, or put a red cross on it so people see it's your first aid kit. The zippers go both ways, and it opens out. Now, I should take that out, give you an idea of the inside. Okay, so this is the pouch. Okay, so what you have here in the top, behind that Velcro, you have a large full-length pocket in there. You then have these loops, and you have another pocket in here. Okay, great for keeping things like chest seals in, items like that. And then along here, they will take your cat tourniquets and so on, or a dressing. Then you come down to this neck section. Okay, again you've got an open pocket there, large open pocket, and you've got your elasticating fittings there. They're good quality elasticating fittings, and this is well put together. Okay, so again, more kit in there. You can put things in there like your tweezers and so on, scissors and such like. Okay, and then you come to this little pouch, and this little pouch is all fastened together. It just flaps open, and that is great. I keep things in that, like my small suture kit. I keep things in there like butterfly dressings, plasters, medicines, things like that. So all that lives in there. So I basically sectioned one of these out and went trauma, general aid, odds and sods. Okay, great pouch, great bit of kit. Yes, it's a Chinese clone copy, but I will say I've bought 4 of these so far, several for friends, and the ones that I bought from Temu, they have been good. They have been well put together, well thought out. Okay, I've got no problem with them. It's sub £5. Okay, can't really go wrong with that. It's a great addition to your kit. Okay, sub a £5. It's absolutely brilliant. And again, to refit in the vehicle, all it is slaps up there, and that strap comes round, clips in, and all your kit is securely held together. It's not just held by the Velcro, okay, which I really like that, purely and simply because we've all had it where things are fastened by Velcro and they work loose or they come away, especially if you have a little bit of weight in it. So yeah, great bit of kit. You could also put it on your belt, carry it on your belt, and it's a rip away system from your belt. So again, you get to your casualty or you get somebody that's hurt, rip it away. One of these actually contains my survival kit, and I've got one set up as a first aid kit. So you'll see it in my in-car bag. One of these contains my survival kit in it, so that it has things like my Siloons, it has the polymath tin which fits in there lovely. Great bit of kit. That's got my vote. I did like that a lot. Do excuse me. Next two pouches I bought was a small pouch. Now these don't really have a name as such. I mean, this is ideal for a GPS, mobile phone, or small mobile phone. Okay, I actually wanted it for a compass and monocular, so it can go on the outside of my kit. So if I'm range finding, or I'm surveying land, or I'm taking bearings, I've got that. If I'm trying to work out the height of a hill, mountain, whatever, using the compass and using the monocular, which I know is set at 4 times, I can then calculate height, distance and so on. Again, that'll be another video. Nice little pouch. Came in at less than a couple of pounds. Okay, single mole strap or molly strap on the back. However, I do wish it had 2 of these bands on the back. Okay, so it'd make it better for a belt. But it does job. It's quite substantial, quite strong. The elastication on it is good. Right? You can fit a dressing in there, or even a grenade if you had to. Okay, the clip. It's a good clip, and again, the 2 elastic cords on the top are fairly strong as well, which hold it together and stop your items from falling out. So again, great bit of kit. Sits on the side of your bag, can go on your belt, can go wherever you want. Or what I tend to do with this one, this just holds that kit together, lives inside my bag. If I then had to move into a tactical or a survival situation, this can come out, be clipped on where I need it, belt. It can go into another bag, it can go onto my smock, it can go wherever I need it to carry it, okay? But inside my bag, tucked away in the bottom, it just holds that kit together. And when I say the monocular again was from Temu. It's a little simple ×4 basic monocular. Don't go spending a fortune buying variable magnification monoculars. ×4 is good enough. Now, ×4 brings 100 metres down to 25. Okay, if you can't see 25 metres, maybe you shouldn't be out in the wilds. The compass, that was a millet special. Okay, it's just a simple, basic compass, and again, keep it simple. Right, perfect your skills. You don't need loads and loads of weight, gadgets, and all the rest of it. And again, I'm not taking it away from a GPS. GPS is a great bit of kit. I've got one, and I do use it, but I do like to have it backed up with a compass. Okay, if you back it up with a compass and a monocular, you're laughing. Okay, all you've ever got to do then is learn heights, basically. If you learn how to compare heights, you can learn how to use the monocular to work out distances. So you then look through the monocular, you look at the height. Take something like a man, right? The average man is between 5'6" and 6 foot tall. Okay, that gives you, alright, a 4-inch variance, but that gives you a rough distance, and then you work out how large he looks in your ×4 magnification. That's the basics. Gets a bit more in depth than that. So that little pouch was absolutely fantastic. I was happy with that. I then wanted a torch pouch. I got a Surefire torch, so I was looking for a Surefire torch pouch, something that would hold a little Surefire torch. Okay, again, because they are a super efficient torch. I've had one for donkey's years. Yeah, it was an issue piece of kit that made me go, do you know what, I like that much, I'm going to go and buy one, okay, to keep in my personal kit. But they also advertised a super torch on Temu, super torch. This torch is amazing, okay. So I ordered the pouch, and the pouch came along with the torch. There's two separate items in the pack. Okay, and again, I can't knock the pouch. All these pouches are made out of quite a good quality Cordura. They're quite stiff. They're well elasticated. They're well put together. All the clips and fastenings are quite good. However, on this one, I don't know why they did this. This band, which is for your mold system, so that should slip behind it, is at the top, and it could have actually done with being nearer to the clip, so it helps to assist the clip in staying shut. Okay, it's a small thing, but it works. It does go onto a belt, it does go onto a Bergen, it does go onto a chest rig, not a problem. That brings me to the super torch. Okay, the super torch. When the super torch come, I took it out of its packaging and I picked it up, and it's plastic. Okay, it's lightweight, crappy plastic, and it rattles. And I looked at it and went, that's going to be pants. Okay, I thought this is going to be an absolute fail, and it is. Okay, it was pennies to buy. You can't expect too much for pennies. It's pants. Okay, however, it is USB rechargeable, and it is an intensely powerful torch, to the point where it is silly powerful. Okay, on the fullest focus beam, i.e. the most intense beam, I was outside in the garden looking at clouds at night, shining it up and illuminating the base of the clouds. Okay, it was an absolutely ridiculous torch. It does have several settings. I'm not going to point it straight at the camera, but it's got a strobe setting, and I will say to you, if you have that set to a fine mode and you fired it in somebody's eyes at night, it ain't doing nothing. Okay, it has a high mode and a low mode. If you've got nothing else for pennies just to throw in the glove box, okay, and charge it every now and again, great. From a bushcraft survival point of view, it's just not sturdy enough. Okay, if you've got kids, you're looking at getting them a torch for keeping in the bedroom, keeping to one side. Yeah, absolutely brilliant for that. But it's not what I would call an outdoors torch, and it's super light. I mean, you're not going to defend yourself with it. Okay, simple as that. Only upside is it'll probably float, but I doubt if it's waterproof. So that was the torch. Okay, takes me on to gadgets and gizzits. Okay, gizzits, army term, quite common one in my day, which was you get two units working together, or you're assisting a unit, and you'll say, what have you got in the way of gizzits? Gizzit to me. Okay, you don't want it, I'll have it. Okay, or I'll trade for it. Okay, so that's a gizzit. Okay, this is just one of those silly phrases. Okay, so I was looking at gizzits, I was looking at gadgets, things, bit of fun, bit of interest, pretty much like the little pocket catapult. Okay, and what I came up with, and I'm looking forward to trying it on a hot day, is they have what they call a solar lighter. Okay, so this comes like this, and I'm not going to touch the lens too much because it means I'll have to clean it. Okay, so it's a little parabolic mirror, and in there is this two-spring system. Now this two-spring system apparently is designed to fit on this little piece in the centre and hold a material the exact distance, the focus distance away from that mirror in direct sunlight, to use it to ignite it. Okay, I just saw it and I thought, for less than £1, it looks interesting, it'll be worth trying, and if nothing else, okay, that is a great little signalling mirror. Okay, that could go in your kit and replace a signalling mirror, because it will also focus a beam. Okay, so that you can use it for fire starting. Just one of those things. But I've yet, UK weather, yet to had a day where I can try it out. It's been quite frustrating because I'm quite looking forward to trying that out, seeing how it works. So that's the solar lighter. Now again, that's on Temu, cheapest chips. It's made of plastic. So the mirror on it is, you're going to want to keep that clean. and try and prevent it from getting scratched. But do excuse me again. Look forward to giving that a try, giving it a go. Cheap paracord, okay, 16 metres, a cheap bright orange paracord. It's not the genuine item, okay, it's cheap knockoff paracord, but it's cordage. It'll do. It'll go into a pack, it'll be sectioned down into lengths. I can use it for lashings, for tarps and things like that. Always worth having some knocking about. Again, 550 paracord is the go-to, okay, or bank line, okay, either one of those two. But sometimes it's just nice to have some cheap stuff for doing those little bits and pieces, knocking up things like little key rings and fobs and pullers to go onto knives and that. That's where that comes in. Okay, I wouldn't use it and trust it as much as I do something like 550 or bankline. But on the little jobs where you just want a bit of twine, rather than messing about cutting into your paracord or using up your good quality cordage, yeah, that's the way to go. And again, it's pennies. Okay. Other items they do, nice little extended bellows for your fire lighting, saves you putting your face in the smoke, okay, which is always a bit of a swine. And that brings me down to my last two items, one of which appears to be good. If it does what it says on the tin, I'm extremely happy and will go and buy another one, a larger one. So they do silicone fire mats, okay. Now, we're all bushcrafters, we're all out, we're all in environments where we quite often light fires, we cook and so on, and one of the issues you have is embers dropping out. For me here, where I am, is a lot of peat, okay, and the last thing I want to do is drop a spark or an ember on a piece of peat, because that can smoulder for months, okay. It will track underground and smoulder away for months and months and months. So I have to dig down into a base layer of soil and clear an area. Well, on occasions that's a pain in the arse, okay. On occasions I'm sitting there thinking, well, I've got my little cook set, I just want a quick fire sorted. So somebody said to me, have a look at a silicone mat. So I did. Now, this was the most expensive item I bought off Temu, and this I think was about £9. Okay, this is a silicone mat, so, and it's a reasonable size. Okay, for what I want. You think if you put a little cook set in the centre of that, it will do the job. It's thick, it's sturdy, it'll also double up as a kneeling mat. It'll double up to stop me getting wet and muddy. It's light and it rolls up. Pretty much nothing. You can fold that up a bit more sensibly, and it's also got some very nice grommets in the corner, so if it's treacherous conditions you could actually peg it down. Okay, I've yet to try it. I will try it in a video, we'll see how good it is, but from what I've seen so far I'm quite impressed. And they do these right out to large sizes, which I'm going to want in the winter when I'm hot tenting using my stove system. Okay, I'd like to put one of these under it again because it stops things dropping out, burning through the bottom of my hot tent. Okay, so again, that on Temu, but again, I've not tried it, I can't put a guarantee on it. It says it's silicone, so if it's silicone it should be burn resistant. However, I've yet to try it. I will feed back and let you know. Comes in a little bag, okay. The bag will probably end up getting used for other things, because that's always what happens, isn't it? How much kit have you got? You sat there and you take it out and you go, I ain't never going back in there. I'll stick the bag in a box, and I keep all those sort of bags, and sooner or later I'm sitting there looking at something going, oh, that'll work as a stuff sack for that. Okay, that brings me to the last item, and the last item on my Temu haul was, and this isn't nice. Okay, so this is supposed to be, well, it is a jute twine. It's a jute twine fire igniter. Okay. Yeah, this is a fail as far as I'm concerned. That's supposed to be wax that's on that jute twine. I don't know where they got their wax from, but it's almost liquid even in cold conditions, and there's tons of it on there, way too much, way more than you need. which makes it difficult to actually fluff out your twine. The other thing is the tube that the twine runs through, for these systems to work, needs to be tight enough that when you pull the jute into it, it closes off the oxygen supply and snuffs the jute out. Unfortunately it doesn't. This tube literally is just too loose on the twine. I'm not going to moan about it too much because it was under £1, and it gives me 8 inches of jute twine. However, it is not the most pleasant. It is a fail. It will be tried out. I will give it a go, but I don't know what the wax is they've used on that. If it is a wax, it's actually got more the consistency and the feel of something like lard or bacon fat. Rubbing it into his hands there. So again, that was my Temu haul. All these items are going to get tried out. I hope it's been a fairly honest and decent review. Oh, one last item, and this item is on my emergency kit. Okay, this bag, okay, I got for the car. Okay, this is now my car medic pack. Okay, and the pack came from Temu. A friend of mine bought one. I looked at it and thought I actually quite like that, and that bag gives me enough room to carry enough trauma gear for 2 to 3 people, maybe 4 people at a push. It gives me a whole variety of dressings. It gives me somewhere to put the tourniquet. Tourniquet lives on top. It's got lots of pockets and pouches, which I've been able to, I've not even filled it, but I've been able to section my stuff down, so when I open it out there is immediate trauma. Okay, trauma, loss of blood, stop that bleeding, save the life. If they're not breathing, okay, then you get them breathing, then you go to controlling the blood. Blood is what is going to kill majority of people in an accident. If their heart has already stopped, then they are dead. Go to resuscitation. But obviously once you've got them resuscitated and the heart start, if they're emptying themselves, you need to stop that and control it ASAP. There's enough room in there for all the kit I need. There's sucking chest wound kits in there, there's drains in there, there's absolutely everything I need, plus medic pouch, or what I call admin pouch, which has got things like my medicines and bits and pieces I want to carry in it. The pouch or the pack itself has a butt strap or belt strap, so you can wear that as a butt pack. Okay, so you could use that for a bushcraft or walking kit, and it also comes with a shoulder strap, so you can sling it over your shoulder. For my use, it literally lives on the shelf in the car, clipped to one side, where I can unclip it, grab it and go if I've got an incident. Okay. Now another item that might cause a bit of concern, hence it's on here because it is for emergency aid, okay, was they did a belt cutter. Okay, belt cutters are quite essential. I've had a couple of situations where I've needed a belt cutter or I've had to go to a knife. Okay, on here was this little belt cutter. Now I will say to you straight away, I examined this very, very closely when I got it. There are no points, no tips, no ability for this to penetrate the human body. Okay, it is designed that I can't cut you with this. Okay, it's for cutting belts or releasing somebody, and that is it only, and that is its only function. It's all it will work for. Cutting cord or twine, it is literally a hook cutter. Okay, but what I did like about it, because quite often when you're dealing with a casualty and that, your hands are full. Okay, I like the fact that it flicks open, and if you look at the design, okay, it is designed, yes, I will say, if you were careful enough you could catch somebody with that hook. However, it's not a knife, okay, it is literally a seatbelt cutter, and it's a quick release seatbelt cutter. So I can carry that on that emergency kit, right, tucked away. If I come across a casualty, I've come across an accident or something, I've got one bag I can grab, go to the scene. I've got a window breaker with me, I've got a belt cutter with me. If I need to extract, which really you shouldn't unless there is an immediate threat to life, don't extract your casualties, leave them there for the emergency services, but have the kit to stabilise them if you need it, and if you had to extract them, You can. Okay, simple as that. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to come back to me and say it's a flick knife and it's illegal and all the rest of it. It's not a knife. It's not, no way at all can I use that as a knife. Okay. However, if I am advised to get rid of it by the authorities, and I am going to go and speak to the police about it, okay, I won't carry it. Okay, I will then go back to my pocket knife, and I do carry a pocket knife on my kit. Okay, and I'll have to use that as my method of extraction. So again, I may be laying myself open to a bit of grief with that, but I'm being honest and open about it, and if I'm advised no, then it is a no. What more can I do? So guys, that is my Temu haul. That bag I do like. Okay, that is a great little med bag. It's well constructed, well put together, and is relatively waterproof. Have a look at them. Go and have a look at Temu. Okay. At the end of the day, yes, it is cheap Chinese, but think about your kit. Think about what you got. Have a look. Have a try. You've got pennies to lose, and at the end of the day, if with that pack there, if I went to buy that pack there from one of the German manufacturers or one of the top manufacturers, I'd probably find it's made in exactly the same factory, just branded differently, and will cost me an extra $20–30. Okay, but it's a risk you take. It is a gamble. I hope your Temu experiences are as good as mine. I have been impressed with a lot of the kit I've got, but also shop through carefully. They have a review system. Look at the reviews. I know these days reviews aren't always something you can trust, but have a look through them and yeah, give it a go. Yeah, what can you know? So guys, that's going to be my video for this week. I'm sorry it's short, but I do have to go and pick Phil up, bless him. News on his brain hemorrhage is good news. He's had the operation, they've sorted it out, he seems to be back on his feet, everything seems to be brilliant. He's all smiling, happy, but he is desperate to obviously get out of the hospital and get home. They were originally going to move him back to a local hospital, but there's no beds available at the moment, and they're happy with his condition, so they are going to send him home, which is what I'm going to be doing in the next half an hour to an hour, is driving from my house into the centre of London and picking him up and getting him home. Yay! Good for Phil. Okay, guys, love those you do, forgive those you don't, and as ever, peace and light be upon you all. Please like, subscribe and share. Ring the notification bell for other videos, and guys, I'll speak to you Sunday night, 2000 hours, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. This has been Mickey out.